Welcome to episode 51 of the OVW Fan Zone Live. This is where fans talk back. My name is Jack Oaks.
Area 51?
Something like that.
Okay.
Studio 51,
That
right?
Studio 54.
I know.
Okay. I'm Brian Hines. With us, as always, is the voice of our disembodied producer, Tiny Brian.
I mean, I do have a body. I have too much body, really.
You're the one who writes the script.
Yeah,
I'm
like
just reading.
You're like a shampoo, like a fine conditioner.
Yes, that's me.
You hear Tiny Brian back there.
I am now too muted. Now there. I am the voice of the chat room. Don't mute the chat room. P.S. If you do a super chat, I will interrupt these guys right the moment as soon as I see it and overtalk them and get your question or comment in there. Otherwise, put your questions in the chat room, and I will have those for the boys later to talk about at the end of the show.
You can hear me right, Malachi? Okay, I'm having some headphone trouble. Just want to make sure. Yeah, like we said, Tiny Brian's back there. You know this is the Fan Zone Live. This is where fans talk back. We can't do it without the chat room, so be sure you tag him at OVW Podcast.
Jay Can, who is new to the chat room as far as I know, with our first super chat of the week for $2, says, Lawless is OVW, baby.
Hell yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the super chat.
We appreciate
He will be
it.
at Davis Arena tomorrow. If you're there, make sure you give Jay a warm welcome.
A Laurel and hearty handshake,
Jay,
as it were.
Jay, are you a first time OVW attendee? Let us know in the chat. We would, and I think we will actually be there tomorrow. Hopefully, we have not been there in way too long. We're hoping to make the journey, so hopefully we can get up with you tomorrow if you are there. And that goes for not just our new friend Jay, but for all of the fans in the chat, right?
Each and every one of you. Is my microphone on?
I can hear you guys, but
I can't hear me.
Yeah,
let's turn up their microphones. I don't know what you did. Turn up their headphones.
In the meantime, Brian Hines, let's move forward with some tour updates. Let's tell these fine people where they can catch the superstars of Ohio Valley Wrestling all across the Commonwealth of Kentucky on the OVW Summer Tour in the coming months.
And parts beyond.
And that's true. They're even heading across the river at one point.
That's right, yeah. So every Thursday you can catch OVW live at Hot Point Davis Arena, starting around 6:15 at 4400 Shepherdsville Road in Louisville. Next Friday.
You would know that if you've heard a Cody Rhodes promo over the last 6 months.
Yeah, or CM Punk or Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golly.
It keeps coming up.
It is all over the place. Next Friday, St. Martha Parish, Shamrock Slam, Louisville, Kentucky. Our friend Jason with Pitch Perfect will be there. He will have Perfect Pitch. I'm sorry. He will have his photo booth set up. It is a wonderful opportunity to get your pictures taken professionally with your favorite OVW superstars, or by yourself, or with random strangers, or just inanimate objects, whatever.
Friends and family.
Imaginary knives, whatever.
We heard AJZ is going to be nibbling ears there. So.
Yeah, that's word on the street. You can walk out with one of these magnetic fridge photos, which I have on my fridge in my apartment, and this came from Tiny Brian's desk here in the office. So that is going to be a great show. OVW Rumble at the Speedway Series, Ponderosa Speedway, Junction City, Kentucky. You've got Saturday, May 17th, June 21st, and July 19th, 2025.
That's 3 big chances to head down to Boyle County and catch OVW at Junction City.
That's right. We've got the OVW Saturday Night Special at Hot Point Davis Arena. That is June 14th. There's a free all-ages show at Element Eatery in Cincinnati, Ohio on June 28th. Our favorite shows of the year, in case we haven't already mentioned this, are at the Manchester Music Hall. OVW is coming back to the Manchester July 5th. That's going to be one hell of an Independence Day weekend, leading into OVW Independence Rage at Hot Point Davis Arena on July 26th. You can get tickets to any and all of these OVW events at OVWTix.com.
And seriously, guys, get out your big red marker, circle July 5th on your calendar. Lexington is a lot of fun during the July 4th weekend. OVW is always a lot of fun at Manchester Music Hall. That's a special show to them. It's a special show to us. If you've never been to the horse capital of the world, no better time to make a visit than to go see OVW on that July 4th weekend, that Saturday, July 5th, Manchester Music Hall.
I couldn't agree more.
And Junk Punch Hero with $5 Canadian super chat.
Really? You're Canadian, eh?
Hey, that money's going to be worth a lot in the coming weeks.
And he says, can't think of anything witty. Go local sports team.
Or go Haverford West.
Yeah, that's actually the new motto around here.
It
The
is.
OVW podcast is go Haverford West.
I've been doing a little research.
Is it Haverford or Haverford?
I guess it's the difference between tomato and tomato.
I guess. I like Haverford.
Over there, probably Haverford. Here in the Bluegrass, Haverford.
Yeah.
Tell us, Brian Hines, you have actually dedicated a little bit of your time to learning about European football and about Haverford West, however you want to take it. Give us a little rundown. Tell us what you learned, Brian Hines.
Let me consult my notes here. I was just looking at that beforehand. The result in the J.D. Welsh Cup has ensured that Haverford-West County AFC will compete in the J.D. Cymru Premier European Playoff Final, which will be played at Bridge Meadows Stadium. Date, time, and ticketing details are yet to be determined. So if that is your jam, stay tuned. Did you know I used to play soccer in college? Football to the rest of the world?
No, I did not.
Did you know that I have not one but 2 high school records?
You're the only guy who tried to take a skate off and try to stab somebody.
No, that's
most time in the penalty box. Oh, right.
So I have the record for the longest goal kicked.
Congratulations. That's actually a good record. That's very impressive.
Do you remember the link? Did you have to measure it in meters?
So, no. I mean, we're talking Southern Ohio in the early 90s, so it wasn't anything like that. But it was a windy day. I was a defender, back next to the goal. Mm-hmm. There was a throw-in on my side, and I got every single ounce of that kick. And it went flying all the way down to the other side of the other side. The goalie was
pitch.
Yes, the goalie was not paying attention. He was talking to some girl he was trying to impress, and it went right under the crossbar.
Oh, you gotta love it.
Yeah, so that is the good record. The second record is unfortunately most goals scored for the other team, but I digress.
And
my dad was the coach.
I am forced to ask, was that incredibly long goal that you scored on your team?
No, it was for my team.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
It wasn't for the opposite team.
I just had to ask. I felt like we might be getting 2 sides of the same story.
No, there was just one day. I just had an off day, and it's like people were using me as part of the field. It's like I was the Green Monster in Fenway Park.
Sure.
Something like that. It was just, it was rough. And my dad was coach, and that long drive home.
Which was tougher?
Let's just say I heard about it.
Which was tougher, the drive home after scoring a goal for the other team, on your team?
Several. Or
the birds and the bees? Which one was a tougher drive home?
I didn't get the birds and the bees talk.
Okay.
So,
So by default.
Yes.
So Morley Sports Management calls you up, right? And they say, we need a guy who can kick really long. You going?
Man, this was 30 years ago.
So yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, presumably you could kick even longer, right? I mean, you've had more time to get good at it.
Sure. As far as you know.
If you really need to tank a game, call you, right? We really need to mess with the Vegas odds.
You're going to have to make it worth my while, but if you need me to throw a fight,
I mean, if they fly you to Wales, come on, I would go and just sort of.
Okay, yeah, I'd do that just for the trip alone.
So, I'm never unimpressed by the journey that you've been on in your life, Brian Hines.
And we haven't even really gotten to the interesting stuff.
2 years in, we're just scratching the. You're like Shrek. There's layers, like an onion.
Okay, I guess I've been called worse, on more than one occasion. So I'll take that.
Did we finish the tour update?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We did.
Because I got to say OVWTix.com.
All right.
And then we had our Morley Sports Management Haverford West moment.
Thank you to Junk Punch Hero for allowing us to work that into the conversation.
And for
local sports team.
And for your name,
and
just in general.
Yes, that is my new favorite chat room name.
Yes.
And
Avatar, by the way, because I am a huge Master of the Universe fan.
And since we've gotten through the Haverford West moment, we've gotten through the tour update, I guess we'll take a break really quickly, and we'll dig into all of the action from the upcoming week of OVW on tomorrow night on this very YouTube channel and at Hot Point Davis Arena. We will be back right after this.
Before we do, I do want to take just a moment.
Please.
Our first ad. Let's do an ad for ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up at 8 o'clock tonight, you can catch a very special episode of OVW Podcast.
Yes. It is not the usual fare from us.
It's not one of those maudlin things from the 80s where somebody's on drugs or anything.
What?
It's not that kind of a very special episode.
It's not an after-school
Oh, it's
special.
not an after-school special.
Yes.
Right. Thank God for that.
Brian Hines did get picked up by a strange man, though.
He had a van.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were referring to my son.
No.
Who is...
He is a strange man who does pick you up.
He is wonderful and strange, and he does pick me up.
No, I was thinking more of the... what's the one? With... what you talking about, Willis?
Oh,
Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman.
Different Strokes.
Yeah.
The Different Strokes very special episode.
Right. Yeah, that was a
Wow.
very special episode.
Yeah, that
Indeed.
was.
The daughter on that episode also had her, or in that series, also had her hair turned green by acid rain in another special episode.
Ah, yes.
They had all kinds of those.
Also, guess
Anyway.
what? That very bad thing that happened to her in that one special episode happened to her in a completely different special episode of Different Strokes.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then later on in real life.
Our special episode is what we're calling Titles, Events, and Tales 4. Those of you who follow our podcast knows that we have 3 times previously given you sort of a primer for OVW about what's going on, who's up, who's down, who's on the rise, so to speak. This is our latest edition of that. In lieu of a normal episode this week, unfortunately, with things going on, we just weren't able to get a regular episode this week. So.
And I took last week off, so I needed a refresher because so much had changed in the 2 weeks that I wasn't
Amen
here.
to that.
It
Yeah.
moves. OVW moves pretty fast. If you
Yeah.
don't stop and look around there once in a while, you can miss it.
I was absolutely blown away.
And that's at 8 o'clock tonight on our YouTube channel over at youtube.com/@OVW Podcast, the unofficial podcast. Jay Carr with a $5 super chat says, "Loud and Lawless will reign supreme tomorrow."
You think Jay likes Loud and Lawless?
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
Certainly the Lawless part. And now let's get into our pre-recorded ads.
Dream a reality and attend the world-famous Harvard of Pro Wrestling. The OVW Academy with Al Snow, the birthplace of legends including Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, and many more. Will you be the next name added to that impressive list? Visit OVWacademy.com and apply now.
This week, hopefully, we'll have this all straightened out.
Fan zone. Whoa.
Get your ticket.
My name is Buzz Backlund, and I'm in the OVW fan zone.
Segment, and we have a special bumper for it, and it's everyone's super favorite time of the show when we do predictions.
Predictions.
God and baby Jesus, can you shut it?
No.
Thank you. That was the vindication we needed. Thank you for that one, PS. Got a live PS. We got a live producer back there tonight, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. We got a live producer.
Thank you very much.
So, who's in our magic box, Malachi?
Let's get started with a rematch from Christmas Chaos.
Oh,
In the
that was
form-
the best. Yeah.
In the form of Cal Hero versus a returning Tony Gunn.
So, when we last saw Cal Hero and Tony Gunn entangled together in a wrestling match, it was at Christmas Chaos.
Correct.
And it was one of the best matches of the year. And
If not the best.
if not the best, I'm a believer in recency bias, so I try not to say that the last thing I saw was the best, but if it wasn't the best, I'm hard pressed to tell you what was.
It was voted OVW's best match of the year during the awards in December, if I remember right.
Then you don't have to hear it from me. You can
Right.
take it from the experts.
Sure.
It was an amazing, amazing match between the two of those guys. They beat the ever-living tar out of each other. You know, based on just how much animosity they went into the ring with at that match, that they've been waiting those 6 long months to get their hands on each other again.
Yeah.
Cal Hero versus Tony Gunn, one-on-one, of returning Tony Gunn, one of the all-time perennial favorites of OVW, up next to an up-and-coming perennial favorite, Cal Hero, right?
Yeah.
This is a lot on the line. These guys know each other very, 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 very well. Cal Hero is my choice to beat Tony Gunn. I think Cal Hero's got a lot of momentum. We haven't seen Tony Gunn recently, although as very much recently, we haven't seen him since the turn of the new year. Although he looks amazing, Cal Hero's got his sights set on bigger fish, probably the biggest fish in OVW, Mount Kadim. And I just think that Cal's not going to take his eyes off the prize tomorrow night.
You're absolutely right. But when you have somebody like Tony Gunn, who we haven't seen at Davis Arena for 6 months, he's not coming back just to say hi.
No.
Not to just catch up with his OVW locker mates, former teammates, former friends. He's back for a purpose. He's on a mission.
Yeah.
And that mission is to win and bring gold back to the Revolution.
And I've got to think that he, in his mind, no better place to start than where he left off with Cal Hero.
I can see Cal Hero winning this, but I feel like Tony Gunn's going to dominate the match, and he's going to lose due to disqualification from outside interference.
The Revolution come in packs, man.
Yep.
And pretty much everyone has fallen to the Revolution, especially when they come out in full force, who's not named Eric Search.
True. He's the only one who's really been able to do it.
So maybe Cal's looking a little bit at Eric's game right now and saying, what can I borrow from that? What can I change for that? I know that Tony Gunn's going to come with friends. I know that there's a really, really high probability of this being a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1, or even a 4-on-1
Easy.
tomorrow night. So, you know, Cal's smart. Cal studies the game. He's probably looking at a victory like Eric Surge was able to pull out and saying, maybe I can take a little bit of that. I just think that Cal's just going to come too correct. He's got too much on the line, and he's not that Tony Gunn is a small fish by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
But Cal's really, really, really driven toward only one thing right now, and that's the heavyweight title.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But, again, strength in numbers.
Tony Gunn, man. Also, it's Tony Gunn. You can never, ever count Tony Gunn out.
Absolutely not.
So, let's see. We have Chapman for Tony Gunn, but Brian, you said Cal by DQ?
I'm going Cal.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've been looking at the chat and things. I may have misheard you. So, Brian, are you with Tony? Who are you with?
I'm taking Cal Hero, but I feel like Tony Gunn is going to dominate the match. He will only lose due to disqualification via outside interference.
Right, so Cal will win because the Revolution shows up and messes him up.
Yeah.
All right, but I'm excited to have Tony Gunn back.
I am too.
And you're right, he looks amazing. His Facebook posts are basically like report cards about his progress and his physicality. It's just amazing to see.
He might have not been at OVW, but he wasn't taking any time off.
No days off. No. And for new father, Tony Gunn. So
that's
right.
right.
Going on.
Remember when people were cheering Tony Gunn's baby being born?
Baby Gunn.
Seems like such a long time ago.
Sure does. Like November. Let's move along to the women's division. And a returning Angelica Risk takes on someone that I've never heard of. May have been in there before, but I think she's brand new to OVW. Brittnie Brooks. Maybe just Brittnie Brooks.
Probably just Brittnie Brooks.
Yes.
Angelica Risk is, anytime that she's been able to be around OVW for an extended period of time, she's people are very quickly reminded why they like her.
Oh, yeah.
And she's extremely, extremely talented. Brings a very physical game to the OVW women's division that can be lacking at times. that really, really, really sets her apart. And then, borrowing a little bit of Luscious Lawrence too, with some butt-based offense.
Yeah.
I'd love to see those two hang out now that Omar's not around as much. I'd love to see Luscious.
If they were a
and
mixed tag
Angelica,
team, what would their name be?
Butt forward?
Dumperific?
Who knows?
I don't like that. I didn't like that at all.
That's okay.
Not all the games work.
I think with a newcomer, it's hard to say, right? With a relative newcomer in the form of Brittnie Brooke, how she's going to be able to fare. We've been fortunate over the last few months to see new additions or returning faces that we hadn't seen in a while in the OVW women's division that were on fire, right? Yeah. I mean, most notably probably J-Rod. Mm-hmm. Came back in the night, won the thing, held it forever. She's not the only one. Maddie, the American Baddie, we really liked. Lovely Miss Larkin, we really liked. Ton of great talent on the women's division. It's really Brittnie's time to either put up or shut up, right? Because although Angelica Risk isn't in there week in or week out, people know her. People are going to be rooting for her.
She can be downright vicious.
And she's no slouch, as
Absolutely
you like to say. She can be downright vicious. She's got a very, very hard-hitting offense that really sets her apart and can be really hard to keep up with, especially if you're a little bit more inexperienced. Mm-hmm. For me and for my friend Matthew, I'm going Angelica Risk.
All right.
Yeah, that's how I found out she was coming back, by the way. Matthew texted me.
He let you know?
Definitely.
I've been getting pictures of his model car and updates on that.
Yeah, I got a couple of those, but usually...
People still do model cars?
Oh, Matthew's got some great model cars.
Oh, yeah, he just bought an airbrushing kit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good for him. He's very talented.
Remember when Walmart had a whole aisle just dedicated to model cars?
Now it's just Hobby Lobby or whatever the name of that place is.
Yeah.
So,
Brian, what say you on Risk versus Brooks?
I mean... I don't have a lot of information on Brittnie Brooks other than her name is Brittnie Brooks. I haven't seen her at any of the Spot Monkey promotions. I haven't seen her in any indie wrestling. I know she's got to be incredibly talented if she has been added to the OVW roster.
Definitely.
But I don't really know enough about her to make an informed opinion. However, on the other hand, we have seen Angelica Risk time and again, always a fierce competitor. And without having any more information, I'm going to say it's probably going to be a night where it is Brittnie Brooks. Thanks for coming. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong. But in this case, Angelica Risk is the real deal.
I think that that's the smart choice, man. I think that's the better choice. I really do. Angelica Risk for both of us.
Yeah.
Tiny Brian.
All right, let's move along. Let's continue with the women's division, however, where we see our OVW women's champion, one Sophia Rose, taking on someone who we've not seen a lot, but who has really kind of impressed us in several ways. That in the form of one Maddie, the American Baddie.
It's Sophia Rose's night, right? I think that we don't have to necessarily delve into the whys and hows of that. Sophia Rose is on fire, coming off of a great victory in Pikeville against J-Rod in a tables match. Really, really, really being able to hold her own, even though J-Rod was getting vicious with her, getting downright mean with her, right? Sophia Rose stood up to the occasion and walked away the victor, right? I don't know that we've seen enough of Maddie, the American Baddie, to say that she can out-wrestle Sophia at this point. Very few people on the women's division can. But for me, Maddie, I just need to see more of her before I feel confident giving her the nod over the women's champion in this situation. Very impressed by her character work. Very impressed with her home studio promos. I've honestly, very, very funny to me. Very, very engaging as a personality. I just need to see a little bit more in ring before I can say with any sort of confidence that she's going to start pulling out victories on someone like Sophia Rose. So I'm going Sophia Rose.
Those are all really good points, and we've said this before. If you're going to make it in pro wrestling, you're going to need three things. You're going to need the look, you're going to need the mic skills, and you're going to need
the
skill.
physique.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the look, but you're going to need the chops, right?
Oh,
You're just
yeah,
gonna
the
need
actual
the chops.
goal. Yeah, I'm
Right,
sorry.
right.
That was the first thing.
So she's got the look. She looks like $1 million. She looks like a superstar.
Yeah.
We've heard her talk. We've seen her promos. Top shelf. We've seen her in the ring. She's right in there with everybody else who is in strong contention for the OVW Women's Championship. Is this a title match? It is non-title.
It is a non-title.
Okay, that kind of complicates things. It would be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see how this shakes out. Wouldn't it be something if we ended up with a 15, 20-minute match where it's not just Sophia Rose, with all of the offense coming out on top? Yeah, I would love it if it were an even match between Maddie the American Baddie and Sophia Rose.
I think that Maddie has the capability to go toe-to-toe with Sophia. I think that Sophia's she's got too much oomph right now. She's got too much momentum. She's riding high. She's got to be very proud of herself. We're all very proud of her. And I just don't see on a Thursday night Sophia letting one slip to Maddie the American Baddie.
After beating J-Rod within the last, 4-6 weeks, whatever it was, anybody in the women's division is going to, it's going to be a tall order to beat Sophia Rose at this point. Do I think Maddie the American Baddie can do it tomorrow? Probably not.
All right.
But that's not to say that she couldn't at some point, or at least hold her own in the title contention. Do I think tomorrow's her night? No. But I don't think that don't sleep on her is what I'm saying.
She is someone that is going to be in that picture by the end of the year, for sure. Whether or not she takes away gold, whether or not she's a women's title holder by the end of the year, I'm not going to go so far as to guarantee that. But she will be in the picture without a doubt.
Yeah. It's still the year of the Rose.
All right. I'm excited for that match. That's probably my favorite match that's listed in here is this Maddie versus Sophia tomorrow. I want to see it. But let's move along to the OVW Media Championship picture where we see in a non-title bout the OVW Media Champion Dustin Jackson taking on the flowing Samoan one Anthony Toatelli. It's gonna be a good match.
Yeah,
man.
Wow. I hadn't gotten a chance to really read through all the notes before we sat down to do this, but
Matthew Berry has joined the chat.
Hey, Matthew, we were just talking about you, as a matter of fact.
Several of the people we know, Roy and Becky and all kinds of folks here tonight.
Yeah,
new
that's
folks,
right. Welcome,
but,
everybody. Thank you.
Anyway, you guys were talking about Anthony versus Dustin.
This might be the match that I'm most excited about for tomorrow.
Yeah, there's no way that this isn't a barn burner. I mean, these two guys can go. These two guys can absolutely tear the roof off of a place. Oh, man, it's an impossible situation. Dustin Jackson been one of my favorite wrestlers on OVW for a long time. Anthony Toatelli only been here for a handful of months, but has really captured my heart. Does all of the things in wrestling that I truly appreciate, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Toatelli is a hell of a professional wrestler, and Dustin Jackson is as well. Anthony Toatelli's just got a little bit more experience. He's going to be always have a little bit more intuition. He's going to be a little faster, right? He's just because he's been around. That makes him an incredible foil for Dustin Jackson. And in all honesty, I think that Anthony Toatelli will be a title holder before the end of the year, and I think it will be this title.
Oh, yeah?
He may just not take it from Dustin.
I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, but, man, an Anthony Toatelli media championship run, just have him out there wrestling week in and week out, whatever comer may. He's the type of wrestler that can do it. He's going to be able to have amazing matches with everyone, and he's going to be able to beat mostly everyone as well. That might all start tomorrow night with Dustin Jackson. However, it's a Thursday night at Davis Arena. That is ultimately kind of the house that Dustin Jackson built right now. He's hard to beat on Thursday night. I'm going Toatelli though, because because something's in the water. Because something's in the water at Davis Arena. And I just think that Dustin Jackson, flat on his back, 1, 2, 3, would be a shock, but it would also set Toatelli up for the year that he's bound to have. So I'm actually going to go Toatelli. Or, since, this is something that also exists out there, I'd love to see just like a time limit draw.
Oh, this be like the hour 1 main event and the time limit's out?
Yeah, I'd love to see like 15 minutes of this at a time limit draw.
All right. So, big opinion from Mr. Oaks, Mr. Hans. What say you?
So this goes back to the conversation we had when we did this week's podcast episode.
Yes.
Which comes out in just 30 minutes.
Which
right
you
here
can
on this,
find
on this very website at our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@OVW podcast.
Are we finished?
Yes.
Okay. Are we sure?
Yes.
Okay.
That's 1 point.
All right. Right. Yeah. Right. Let's see. Well, -1 for you. Yeah, we were talking about who would be next on the horizon for Dustin Jackson. We have our answer right now in Anthony Toatelli.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very impressed with Anthony Toatelli. He hasn't been in OVW for a long time, but he's gone out week after week. Hell of a worker, hell of a fighter. Always puts on a very entertaining match. I think he's going to give Dustin Jackson a run for his money. It's a non-title match. I'm going Toatelli.
Yeah, I think that
would be a great summer-long feud.
Me too, and looking at all of the dates that we have on the OVW Summer Tour, be a heck of a match to take out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person who wins at that point is the OVW fans, because
exactly.
those two guys in a more unrestricted environment that you're bound to see at a non-taped show, a non-televised show. Golly, like, you couldn't ask for anything more than two guys like that. Just 25 minutes, whatever you want. Go do it. Opening, show closing, doesn't matter. Middle of the show, they're stealing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would love this to be our kind of feud of the summer.
Yeah.
Love it. You guys are mostly kind of simpatico throughout all of this week. So
Can you spell simpatico?
I cannot. Wasn't going to try to. Let's go to our what I presume will be the main event.
Is it Latin? Is that Latin?
I believe it's Latin. Yes. That is an OVW tag team match, which is a championship match. The title is on the line between the OVW tag champions Loud and Lawless versus the trifecta, specifically in the form of Brandon Beretta and Ashton Adonis, and we assume our good friend Anthony Katina will be lurking around ringside as well.
So, Anthony Katina as a mouthpiece, inspired. Brilliant stuff. The tag team of Ashton Adonis and Brandon Beretta, the double A, the double B, inspired. Amazing stuff, right? Can't believe that in just a few amount of weeks that these guys have found their voice and their niche and where they belong on the roster in a short amount of time, almost quicker than anybody else. Debatably quicker than Loud and Lawless did when they were climbing up the tag team division.
That's very true.
Love Loud and Lawless as a team. Jake Lawless is a sentimental favorite. We got a guy in the chat tonight who's a big Jake Lawless fan, and I don't want to disappoint him by what I'm about to say, but it's Ashton Adonis and Brandon Beretta, new tag team champions tomorrow night. The trifecta is taking home the tag team championships. No doubt in my mind. I don't know. I'll do the show shirtless next week, since Radio Face making fun of me for my laundry. I'll do the show shirtless next week if the trifecta aren't the new tag team champions.
Wow, strong words. Brian, do you how you feeling?
I would like to take this opportunity to address Ryan Von Rocket and Flawless Jake Lawless directly. I believe in you. Please win tomorrow so I don't have to do this show next week with shirtless Jackman.
We're going to have to run that in front of standards and practices anyway.
No, they would have to win. They would.
Yeah, they have to win to keep your shirt on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said what I said.
Are you going to predict that way, or do you think you're going to have a shirtless co-host next week?
I'm going to wear the jacket over it for what it's worth.
Oh, okay. Well, you could pull that off.
Yeah,
for sure.
I might even get a little Chippendale action.
Okay.
Little,
you had me, then you lost me.
One of those little ties,
A bow tie?
Yeah, but those bow ties, the Chippendale bow tie,
I don't. Really.
the break with and the collars.
Oh,
okay. So
gotcha.
we're
Anyway.
wandering off from the format here.
This is a rematch from the last episode of Rise, emanating from Hot Point Davis Arena. Correct?
From 2 weeks ago.
The trifecta came out on top.
Mm-hmm.
They came out looking strong. They came out looking like they had been a tag team for years instead of a couple of weeks. Very impressive showing. Like you said, Loud and Lawless haven't been a tag team long either, but they gelled together very quickly. It was a great match last week. I love Beretta and Adonis as a tag team, accompanied by Tony Katina.
It's inspired.
Yeah,
it really is.
I haven't seen a really good heel manager like that in a very long time. Like going back to the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking. I mean, nobody's Bobby the Brain.
Not only a heel manager, but he can go too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's just a heel manager who also wrestles.
Do you think they're gonna freebird this thing when they win? When they win it tomorrow night, you think they're gonna freebird this thing?
What do you mean
What
exactly?
does that mean?
That's the
Well, we're not talking shirtless again, are we?
well, Michael PSAs was often shirtless, but the
that's right.
the Freebird rule, if for people that don't know, is the Fabulous Freebirds were a 3-man team, and they enacted a rule when they were tag team champions that still stands to this day, known colloquially as the Freebird rule, where if you are a 3-man team, any 2 members of the 3-man team can defend the championships.
Oh, I see.
If first off, if they're not doing that, missed opportunity. If they're not running with the Freebird rule, missed opportunity. Second off, there might be a chance that nobody ever beats these guys ever again if they're going to Freebird this thing.
That is a very good point.
Like Ashton Adonis, Brandon Beretta, great tag team. I'm curious where Anthony Katina might fit in, but we know Anthony Katina can go. We know Anthony Katina's been all around the world. We know Anthony Katina can wrestle his little butt off, right? He's an added he's not even a cherry on top. He's napalm, man. Like he's gonna end up blowing this whole situation wide open for them. I really, in a short amount of time, I'm in love with the trifecta. They have really found their own, and I think they're tag team champions tomorrow night. I don't see any way around it, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, we already have your prediction, Brian. We're still waiting on yours.
I feel like Loud and Lawless have something to prove. The trifecta got one over on them last week, very effectively and resourcefully.
To earn this chance, really.
Yes, to earn this chance. But they're not champs just because they decided, oh, you guys are champs. They worked hard, and they made it happen. You get one. Everybody gets one, like according to Spider-Man. It's going to be Loud and Lawless.
Okay.
And I hope that they have a rivalry like this that goes all summer long.
Again,
if you have a rivalry like Dustin Jackson and Anthony Toatelli, and you've got Loud and Lawless versus the trifecta, and you take this out on the road, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, this is as close to the feeling that you're going to be able to see nowadays of like watching the Great American Bash from back in the 80s.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
All these venues around Kentucky, some of them outdoor. I'm here for it all day long.
And I mean, Adonis and Beretta and Katina would be able to walk into literally any town, and people would automatically know exactly what to do with them. Just start booing. Yeah. Right. No, they're great. They're great. This is a tag team. Like I'm very, very excited. Even if it doesn't go my way tomorrow and I'm in here next week shirtless, I'm very excited just to have a new toy, basically, a new plaything in the tag division. Because the trifecta are fantastic. Fantastic so far.
Let's take a quick look at the what I call the choir picture, which is everybody else who they say is going to be appearing. And let's see who we got. Put it back up here too, please. All right. So we got looks like Dos Desafios and a whole bunch of people. You guys should see it in a second if you've got the thing going.
We do not. We are on a delay of sorts.
I'm thinking that Los Desafios has probably no one more upset by the trifecta than Los Desafios right now.
I would imagine so. Yeah, they've worked really hard. They're another fantastic tag team. They don't get the recognition they deserve. And I would imagine that the addition of the trifecta to the men's tag division does not sit too well with Los Desafios, as it probably doesn't with a lot of people, to be perfectly honest.
If the trifecta walk away champions tomorrow, that's ready-made. Los Desafios asking why they're not the ones that are getting the shot, why they're not, why they're not the ones that are in that opportunity. That's ready-made, and that would also be a great series of matches.
KT Dunn and Icon Lee are there.
Ah, I see. Yeah, and Jay De Niro, Star Rider.
Who's the guy in the backwards baseball cap? Anybody recognize that guy?
His face is like this.
He was
this
around
big
He
on my
was around a few weeks ago.
Tony
him.
Evans hiding up there in the corner.
Good for him.
Hey,
Freya
hush.
and also all
J-Rod,
kinds of
too.
And Luscious Lawrence.
All right.
I really want to
Lush.
see Luscious Lawrence hang out with Angelica Risk. I've been wanting that for months. So that's everybody who's going to be in the house. I just think that their characters would jive well together. I don't want them to date or anything.
I mean, have you seen Luscious? No women can say no.
I mean, that is true.
Yeah, that's true.
It's in. I mean,
And a lot of men can't say no.
just ask him.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the name for the team.
What you got?
If Angelica Risk and Luscious Lawrence are a mixed tag team, Booty Luscious.
Oh God, there it is.
Look at that. That's worth creating a whole
it is.
mixed tag division just so
I
they can be a
knew
mixed
there was
tag.
something there. I just, I had to put it down before you can pick it back up,
Angelica, can you handle this? Luscious, can you handle this? I don't think you can handle this. Whoa.
And on that note, I think we will take our last break.
Yeah,
sounds
on
great.
that note, we will be back. A final segment up next, OVW Fan Zone Live. Thanks for watching.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
Hi, this is Roy Bishop, and we're in the OVW Fan Zone.
Welcome back. Final segment, OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. Now's the time to do it. Get those questions, comments, concerns, complaints, requests, anything wrestling or OVW related in the chat so that Tiny Brian can facilitate that to us in good order. My name is Jackman Oaks.
As always, my name is Brian Hines, and don't you forget it.
Yeah, I've got a few things here for you. It's still time to get some in the chat room. Before we do, one more time, I do want to mention our latest Titles, Events, and Tales 4 is going to be available at our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. on the nose. Go over
You're
there.
still really shook by Doug Basham coming by here, aren't you? Changing the name of our longstanding programs and everything.
I just, look, I wanted to be, I wanted to use the terms that people like.
Well, we actually do have somebody here that wants to talk to you about. Doug, can you?
Oh, yeah.
Got him.
Sucker.
All right. That said, let's move in. Radio McRadioface asks, will the new management people be involved with week-to-week bookings?
I'm going to go out and just go ahead and say that has never been the case at OVW.
No, I wouldn't think so.
That is not the way that OVW really runs their show. That is not the way that really that's clandestine in any real wrestling, throughout the history of the world, or the history of professional wrestling. I guess it's very clandestine to have your financial backer start making day-to-day booking decisions. And honestly, I don't think that Morley Sports Management would come to someone like Al Snow and say, actually, we can do this better.
Yeah.
We've got some ideas.
Yeah.
I think that if you're Morley Sports Management and you're looking at OVW, you're looking at elevating what's already there, giving the very talented people in the ring and behind the scenes the capability to do their job to the greatest extent that they can. And I think ultimately that means you dance with the girl that you took to the dance, right? And that's Al Snow in this case.
That's very well put.
All right. So let's see here. Let's move on. Jay Can, who is
our new friend.
But
Yes.
you've been very visible tonight, and we're glad to have you. Says Icon Lee has really amped his stuff up. Really impressed lately. What do you guys think about the rise of every third post in our social media feed, Icon Lee?
I've said it before, man, and I'll say it again, and I don't mind to say it. Icon Lee's got something going on, and there are places where he goes and he is not the Icon Lee that we see at OVW, and there are places like OVW where maybe he's
the iconist.
Yeah, he's the iconist that he possibly can be, right? He's got something going on. To boo him or cheer him, you're reacting to him, and he keeps getting put in these opportunities because he's talented. He's just still a lot, right? It's still the Icon Lee of it all is still hanging ever presently.
He's converted Roy Bischoff, who was asked several times about Icon in the chat.
Well,
and when Matthew disparaged him, I suppose, he said that Icon grows on you, and I think that's very true.
Well, and, Mr. Bischoff is seeing him come and seeing him go, right? So I think that he might be a good indication of where we might feel about what we might feel about Icon Lee in the coming months. And I said that a few months ago. I said, just let him even out, let him grow on you, let him impress you, open your mind to actually being impressed by him, look past the stormtrooper and the tagging on the social media and the C4 energy of it all. Let him impress you, because he will.
In terms of effort, he's the hardest working man out in this conversation. I mean, always on social media, always in character, always rising to the occasion of anything they've ever asked him to do. He's grown on me too, quite a bit.
And he hangs out with Jack Vaughn. Jack Vaughn don't take slouches in his orbit.
No, he's a veteran, and he only associates with a certain level of superstar.
Absolutely.
And Icon Lee fits the bill. So there we are.
Jay also mentions when we were talking about Cal versus Gunn that Cal is on a whole new level these last couple months, and now that we're a little while removed from the Jamin of it all, what do you think about the revision to Cal Hero's character that we finally seen in full?
I have a couple of things to say about it. I think that ultimately it's very, very wholesome and genuine, and that's the reason that it's worked so well.
Even though it's darker and edgier.
Yes, there's still that Cal Hero in there, right? There's still the Cal Hero that cuts the promos like, I don't like bullies and I don't like it when you bully my friends, right? There's still the Cal Hero that says butt and not ass, right? And I think that that's why this turn has worked so well for Cal, is because it's been very, very organic. It's been needed, and he's rose to the occasion, but he never lost the thing that made him so respectable and so admirable. He never lost that little sliver of humanity. That little sliver of Cal Hero is still so present, even though the presentation feels so different. And I think that's why it's worked so well.
I think so. You're right. It has worked. And it is very much still working. But I feel like we're just really beginning to see what Cal Hero is capable of and the potential that he holds. And I think we're at that boiling point where we're going to turn potential energy into kinetic energy.
100%. So I guess the question begs itself, given your observations. Cal Hero going to beat Mount Kadim for the heavyweight championship before the end of the year.
Would not be surprised if we saw that happen.
I tend to agree. It's so funny with Cal Hero because it's been time for so long.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But it's never felt like a misuse of his time or that he's been misused when he hasn't been around the heavyweight title picture. Even when he's not in a title picture at all, he always feels very, very crucial to what's going on at OVW, and that's a testament to him. That's a testament to his work.
Roy talks about Cal growing up.
Yeah, Cal's growing up. And, back to a point that I've made like several times on this show and on our other shows, that OVW is a strange place where when you see someone like Cal Hero undergo a change like that, this is your brother or your friend growing up. This isn't a change on someone that you see at television. This is a change in someone that you know. And that's another reason why, back to the organicness and how genuine the change has been in Cal, it's another reason why it's worked so well.
Yeah.
Is he didn't just start wearing black and flicking people off,
Yeah.
he's still the Cal Hero that you loved. He's just more mature.
He's growing right up. Radio McRadio Face says, my whole living room is glowing white from the podcast backdrop. We have gone from a black backdrop or that weird spark or the Fantasyland cloud cover. We've had several backdrops, but now it is just it's white.
Radio McRadio Face. Think about how we feel sitting in this thing.
Yeah.
I'm going blind. I feel like I'm looking out at the driving snow.
Jeff Colt says, bring back Katie Gannon. What do you guys miss Katie?
I would ask where he would want her to go. Would she slide back into that heel kind of manager role that she was for the Revolution that she was doing great at? Do you want to see her in a wrestling ring? I think the ship kind of sailed, unfortunately, but I thought that her and Luscious Lawrence and Omar would have been, her and Beaches and Cream.
Oh yeah,
would have been
that
like
been
a heel Beaches and Cream with a heel Katie Gannon. So that would have been amazing. But I do think maybe that ship has sailed a little bit.
Unfortunately, I would agree with you, but that is a very good question. If we were to bring Katie back, I'd love to see Katie Gannon back at OVW, but where would you put her and what would she do?
She kind of honestly might fit pretty in well with the trifecta as well.
Oh, wow. That's a
But you can't put 4 members in the trifecta.
Well, she's not in the trifecta. She's there.
The trifecta with Miss Katie Gannon.
Yeah.
I see.
Let's see here.
But good point. Yeah.
Junk Punch Hero.
Quadruplet or whatever doesn't work.
Quadrecta?
The tetra. The tetfecta.
Can you spell that?
No.
Okay.
TETFECTIA, maybe? Let's move along. Junk Punch Hero says, predicts Toatelli will win. He says, DJ needs to be humbled. How do you guys respond to that notion?
Man, humbled is a strong word. Humbled is a strong word. Do I like where your head's at, though? Yes. Does Dustin Jackson maybe need a little bit of a reminder what he goes out there and fights for every night? How important it is to carry around a championship title at OVW? Yeah. Yeah, I think Dustin Jackson could go for that. Humbled is a strong word, though.
Hey, P.S. Do we have a word from Dustin Jackson?
I think he wants the clip from Dustin Jackson, Malachi.
We're talking about Dustin Jackson, so.
And
do the whole thing. Yes, we love that clip.
I agree.
No good deed comes unpunished.
That's fine.
Welcome back, Jackman.
Oh my God. Turd, party of one.
That is, wow. Okay. And with that, we have a couple of folks, including Jay Can and Roy Dorn, who really don't want Jackman to do the Fan Zone shirtless next week.
Well, hopefully Trifecta wins.
That makes three of us.
That makes all of us. With that, we will get into we will do the calendar. In just 23 hours from now, OVW Rise will be starting, but the doors open at 6:15 tomorrow at Hot Point Davis Arena, 4400 Shepherdsville Road. It is the hottest ticket in Louisville. We're going to be there unless somebody washes out I-64. I'm excited.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have in fact happened, but we hope to see you there. Come and join us, 4400 Shepherdsville Road. Let's watch a great show tomorrow. Right after this show, Titles, Events, and Tales 4 premieres, like we said a couple times before, over on our YouTube at YouTube / OVW Podcast.
Okay.
Next Tuesday at 8 p.m. or at 7 p.m. right here on this feed, you can watch the show that always kicks out at 2, Overdrive, with one Brian Kennison and one Dancing Stevie J. We look forward to what they have for us. And next, in just 6 days and 23 hours from right now, we will be right back here with the 1-year anniversary episode of OVW Fan Zone Live.
Holy crap.
Where fans have been talking back for over a year now.
Couldn't have done it without you guys.
We need to do something special. We need to kick it up a notch.
Yeah, if there's any OVW personalities or fans, anybody who would be interested in coming down and joining us, DM us on social media. We'd love to have some folks down.
You think we can get something up on the wall next week?
Maybe so. 100 episodes of the podcast is just 2 weeks away as well.
So we need to have like some kind of anniversary party.
Yeah,
something like that.
I don't disagree.
And maybe, I don't know. We'll talk about it off mic, but I didn't realize that both of these milestones were back to back like that.
We're getting right within a couple weeks, but
so we need a production meeting.
So next week we will be back with the anniversary show of OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. Go ahead. For
everyone here at the OVW Fan Zone Live and at the Blacklight Moon Productions, my name is Jackman Oaks.
I'm Brian Hines.
For Malachi P.S. Woodard, Tiny Brian K. Woodard, and Victor Anderson, love ya.